medication forms. The form of a medication usually will dictate its route. For example, you can't give a tablet via IV, right? Okay, that's a pretty simple one. The manufacturer chooses the route of administration, chooses the form to ensure that you have the proper route of administration, that the timing of the medication's release is correct, and to ensure that it's affecting the right body part or system. Or system. Okay, so what are some of the basic medication forms?
Pill.
Okay, so we have pills. What's another name for pills?
Capsule.
Capsules or tablets? What's the difference?
Capsules are filled, aren't they?
Yeah.
With the medication.
Yeah, so there's usually a gelatin type coating that holds the medication inside of it in a capsule. What's a tablet?
Relate that more with dissolving. Well, they all dissolve at some point.
They all dissolve at some point, yeah.
Tablet.
That's just the product, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a smooshed product. Okay, so a tablet is just a smooshed product. Now, you can have tablets that have a coating on them, as we talked about earlier. Okay, this is a tablet. Okay, it's shaped like a capsule. See, it says it's a capsule-shaped tablet. But this is a tablet. It's ibuprofen. If I were to break this tablet of ibuprofen open, what would I find inside of it?
Ibuprofen.
Ibuprofen. But would it come out?
Chalky.
Would it come out chalky, or do you think it's going to come out pretty solid?
Solid.
It's solid, right? Let's see what happens. Oh, good. It is really solid. See? Now, if I was to take a capsule, which I don't have any capsules here, but if I was to take a capsule and break it open, what do you think the inside looks like?
Liquid or gelish?
Yeah, or it could be a bunch of little chalky pieces. Depakote is a capsule that you open, so you can either take it as a capsule, or if your kid has a problem taking capsules or medications by mouth, you can open it and sprinkle the little pieces of it on your kid's food. Okay? Okay, so that was a tablet that was coated with something, and it had an enteric coating on it in order to protect it so that it doesn't dissolve until it gets to the right part of your bloodstream, or the right part of your digestive system. Bloodstream, digestive system, you know, tomato, whatever. All right, so we've got tablets and capsules. Most medications that are given by mouth are given in a tablet or capsule form. A medication that's swallowed and digested provides a slower route of delivery and is not as useful in an emergency. Okay, what else do we have?
Liquid.
What?
Liquid.
Okay, we have liquids. Liquids are usually a solution or a suspension. What's the difference?
Solution helps the problem right away. Suspension kind of like takes care of it just for the moment. You know, like suspending the time.
Okay. What's the difference in the form? Let's go back to basic chemistry class. High school chemistry 101. What is a solution?
Two or more parts. One or more parts mixed together.
Two or more parts mixed together. and they become indistinguishable from one another. So you can't separate them. All right? So this gel, I threw it away, but the gel that we use for our oral glucose, that is a solution. It's a gel, but it's got the glucose mixed up inside it, right? You can't distinguish those from each other. Whatever the solution, the solute and the solute and the solution are, you can't distinguish them from each other. It becomes one thing, even though it was a couple things to start with. Once you mix them together, like sugar water. Once you mix it together, you can't really tell the difference between the sugar and the water. Okay? So that's a solution. What's a suspension?
Like what we just drank.
Like what we just drank. Activated charcoal is a suspension. Why is it a suspension?
Because it's two or more things put together, but you can easily separate them.
Yeah, it's two or more things mixed together, but you can still differentiate between them. So if we allow our activated charcoal to sit, you're going to see that it separates. It's like oil and water. Okay? You can mix them up if you want to, but they're not going to stay mixed up for very long. So that's the difference between a solution or a suspension. It's super, super, super important that you shake or swirl a suspension before its administration. I shouldn't have thrown this stuff away already. What happened to our suspension of activated charcoal?
Settled.
It settled a lot. Like a lot, right? We didn't get it all mixed up. You shook it for a long time. I shook it before I handed it to you. I shook it again after I took it away from you. We still didn't get it mixed up. Got to make sure you mix up your suspension so that you can make sure that your patient is getting the appropriate dose. We left a lot of medication in the bottom of that container, didn't we? Yeah, not so good. All right. How about a metered dose inhaler? What is a metered dose inhaler? Have we all seen metered dose inhalers? What are they used for?
Asthma.
Asthma. Bronchitis. Okay, this is a metered dose inhaler. Okay, there's no medicine in it. It's old, used up, but this is a metered dose inhaler. The way a metered dose inhaler works is that when you press it down, it administers a specific amount of medicine. It doesn't matter if you hold it down, it's not going to continue to administer it. It's metered. So every single dose, you have to press it down. Okay? That's another form of administration. Why is this considered a form of administration?
Breathe it in, gets into the lungs, right?
You breathe it into your lungs, yep. So why is this considered the form of administration instead of a route of administration? Because we did decide that inhaled is a route of administration, right? So why is the form metered dose inhaler?
Because you can take other medications like a nebulizer that is...
You can take other medications like a nebulizer, and that would be an inhaled medication. But this is the form that this particular medication is administered in. Does that make sense? Okay. How about, I hope I'm using the right color because I think I lost it somewhere. How about topical medications? What is that?
It's like Benadryl you spread on your skin.
Yeah, it's something you spread on your skin. And how does it work?
It absorbs through the skin.
It absorbs through the skin. And what does it affect? For it to be a topical form, what is it designed to affect? When you put Benadryl on your skin, what are you expecting it to do?
To reduce the swelling in that specific area.
In that specific area. Yeah, it doesn't travel through and reduce the swelling in your lungs, for example, right? So topical medications are designed to be used only in the specific area that they're applied to. They only affect that area. Okay, how about transcutaneous medications? We talked about this a little bit already. There's a lot of medications that are administered transcutaneously. What's the difference between transcutaneous and topical? They both go on the skin surface.
because it probably works throughout the body.
Yeah, transcutaneous is designed to go through the skin and work throughout the body, where topical is designed to only affect the part of the body that it's applied to. Okay? All right. Now, what about a gel? What about a gel?
Orally, we just took.
We just used a gel, right? We used oral glucose. Is it possible that a medication or a form can be more than one? Yeah, because that gel is a suspension. No, it's not. It's a solution. You can nod along with me if you want to, but if I make a mistake, one of us has to correct me. Is the gel a solution or a suspension?
Solution.
It's a solution. You can't tell the difference, right? All right. And then the last basic form is gases for inhalation. This is where that nebulizer comes into play, Mariah.
It turns a liquid into a vapor.
Turns a liquid into a vapor. Yeah, becomes a gas. All right? Okay. All right, so we're going to talk about the general steps in administering medication. This is where we're going to do our wrap. You guys smile because you think I'm joking. I'm not really joking.
No,
Okay?
it's actually just going to be kind of
What?
I said it's going to be kind of fun.
I'm not rapping. You guys are rapping. Uh-huh. All right. Okay, steps for administering meds. Okay, steps for administering meds. You can only administer meds if you have authorization from your medical director. Now, that authorization can either be online or offline. What is online medical direction?
You're talking to them.
You're talking directly to your medical director and he's saying, go ahead and give this. Okay? What's offline medical direction?
Written protocol.
Written. So you can either have a guideline or a protocol or a standing written order that says it's okay for you to administer the medication. Either way, you've been given authorization from your medical director to administer that medication. That's the first thing you need to have. What do you need to do to ensure that the medication that you're administering is correct? Okay, we are going to cover the 6 rights. 6 rights of medication administration. All right. Ready? What's the first one?
Right patient.
Right patient. So, we have to make sure we have the right patient. What's the second one?
Right medication.
Medication. What's the third one?
Right route.
Is that third?
Oh, right dose.
Dose. What is the fourth one?
Right route.
Route. There you go. What's the fifth one? mean by time?
Expiration date, or if they've already taken one, you know, can they take one too soon?
Yeah. Okay. And what is the last one?
Documentation.
Documentation. All right. So, if you break this down into something that's easy to remember, okay? I hate doing this on video because it's going to be memorialized forever. Okay, so I remember this in two ways, okay? I break it down to initials. So I go P, M, D, R, T, D, okay? And when I do this, you guys are going to laugh at me. Okay, here we go. P, M, D, R, T, D, P, M, D, R, T, D. She's laughing already. P, M, D, R, T, D. Right. P, M, D, R, T, D. P, M, D, R, T, D. P, M, D, R, T, D. Right. I can remember it. Laugh all you want, but I can remember it. Maybe those of you who like heavy metal will like that. I don't know. The other way is somehow or another, this makes a rhythm to me. So I go patient, medication, dose, route, time, documentation. Okay, so that makes a rhythm to me. I don't care how you remember it. I don't care if you need to flip your hair around and headbang to remember it. Okay? I don't care if you remember it because you like this rhythm. Doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter to me what you use to figure out how to remember it. But you need to remember patient, medication, dose, route, time, documentation. Those are the 6 rights of medication administration. And every single time you administer medication to your patient, or you even think about administering medication to your patient, you need to run through all of these. If you don't like it this way and you don't like it that way, come up with another way. But remember it. Whatever it is, remember it. Patient, medication, dose, route, time, documentation. You got a better answer? No laughing.
I do on a daily basis. So
Okay. How do you remember all that?
I wrote it on my hand one time and then that's all. Because in my med class, they had it on a hand like this.
That's only 5 rights.
And then documentation was written.
Oh, okay. Come up here and do it.
I can't draw a hand.
Okay, well, I'll draw your hand since, you know, it's so hard to draw a hand.
Just write it on there?
Yeah, however you did it in your class.
Well,
Ignore my pinky, that's my pinky.
oh, that's a pinky. Yeah, that was the thumb.
No cheating by looking over at my list over there. I just saw you look. Oh, backwards.
It doesn't matter. This is how I did it. You said, however, I do it. So
Yep.
this is how
Do it
I
however
did it.
you do it. Stop sneaking and peek at my notes over there. Okay, how are you going to remember it, Adam?
Part of the heavy metal one.
How about you, Dusty?
The rat.
The rap?
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, probably the rap.
Yeah?
Speaks to me.
Okay, I don't care how you remember it, but when it comes up on your quiz, you need to know it. Okay, medication errors almost always result from a failure to follow these 6 rights. Okay, so when we're talking about the right patient, what do we mean?
There are signs and symptoms.
If it's like a prescribed one.
Okay, if it's a prescribed medication, we need to make sure that it's prescribed to them. Okay, so prescribed meds are for them. Rusty.
I was thinking, do their signs and symptoms match what you're, or appropriate for what you're going to administer?
Okay. Now, what do we mean by it's the right medication?
Basically the same thing. Is it gonna do the right, or take care of the right signs and symptoms?
Okay. As we get into, as EMTs in the state of Idaho, you have an optional module that will allow you to draw your own epinephrine and inject it instead of using an EpiPen. Okay. So, how are you going to know if you're using the right medication?
Look at the bottle.
You're going to look at the vial? How much epinephrine do you need to administer to an adult patient? 0.3 milligrams. Okay. How much do you need to draw into your vial? Or how much do you need to draw into your syringe in order to administer the right dose to your patient?
Yeah, not much more.
Pardon?
Not a lot more.
Not a lot more than what?
0.3.
Pardon?
Not a lot more than 0.3.
0.3 milligrams. Okay? That has nothing to do with the amount of liquid that you're going to draw into your syringe. If your epinephrine is 0.1 milligrams per milliliter, which it's not, because that's a horrible, atrocious, god-awful amount of liquid to inject into one person, because we're now talking 3 milliliters in order to get to 0.3 milligrams, right? You need to know that to get to 0.3 milligrams of epinephrine, you have to draw 3 milliliters of fluid. Okay? If you're going to inject a pediatric patient, what's the pediatric dose of epinephrine? 0.15 milligrams. Okay? It's half that of an adult. So if you have the same medication, but you need to give it to a pediatric patient instead, how many milliliters of fluid are you going to draw?
1.5 liters.
1.5 milliliters, yeah. You're going to draw 1.5 milliliters because you have 0.1 milligrams per milliliter. Still a god-awful amount of liquid to inject into a person's muscle, right? So, medication not only means that it's the correct medication for the signs and symptoms that the patient is exhibiting, but it also means that if you have to draw the medication, you know that you are administering the right amount. Okay? That also has to do with dose. These kind of go hand in hand. If you need to draw epinephrine, you need to make sure you're not drawing something else. I'll stop there. Okay, so we need to make sure we're giving them the right dose. Okay, again, if you have a medication that is 0.3 milligrams per if you have a medication that is 0.1 milligrams per milliliter and you need to give 0.3 milligrams, how much medication do you have to give?
3 liters.
3 milliliters.
Milliliters, yeah.
Yep, 3 milliliters. Okay, so you need to know that the correct dose is 3 milliliters. How do you figure that out? Your epi is 0.1 milligrams per milliliter. You need to administer 0.3 milligrams. How many milliliters is that?
3.
Pardon?
3.
3. Yeah, 3 milliliters. You need to be able to figure that out so that we can get the correct dose. How do you figure out what the right route is?
Based on the medication you're giving?
Based on the medication. Are we going to give the epi that we just drew, are we going to give it via IV? I hope we're not going to give it via IV. It's true that you could administer epinephrine via IV, but it's not going to have the desired action, and it's not going to last as long as it would if it was in IM. Okay? Right time. We need to make sure that we have not given epinephrine within, I don't remember what the previous one is, I think it's 15 minutes. You can only give epinephrine every 15 minutes. So we need to make sure that we haven't done it within the last 15 minutes. And then we need to make sure that we document appropriately. I drew 0.3 milliliters, no. I drew 3 milliliters of 0.1 milligrams epinephrine. That equals 0.3 milligrams. And administered it to my patient in his right quad. Okay, proximal to the knee, distal to the femoral head. All right. Any questions about the 6 rights of medication administration and why they are important? All right. You can turn that off so you guys don't have to be recorded.